What are some of the mistakes that you're seeing people making today or have always been making that stops them getting the results that you think are?
Impatience. You're not asking people for money, you're asking them to trust you.
Okay. And if you try to go 3, 5, 7, 9 steps while somebody's only ready to make 1, then what they do is they shut down.
I think one of the problems is people want to get to the end too fast and they want to overshare, only share what the other person needs to know.
So what is resonating today? Like, what might be the top 3, 4 things that you share with people who don't necessarily see themselves as having a confidence in being able to sell that is helping them being able to access superpowers in their world?
Stop and actually wait for the answer and don't presuppose or assume the answer. Here's the little secret that everybody needs to know. Help them see that, you know what, you could go somewhere else, but what you can't get from them is X. Know what your X factor is.
Love that. Nobody grows up wanting to be a salesperson. Yet to achieve anything that you want to achieve in life, then you need to be able to sell something to someone to get them to be able to part with money so that you can then go on to be able to achieve what it is that you're looking for. You know that if you do not ask, you do not get. And in this given moment in time here at the National Speakers Association convention I thought I would ask the question of some people who've been in the asking business for some time to help you understand how you can ask for more of the things that you want in your life. Excited to introduce you to Carolyn Strauss. So you've been in this sales game for more than a minute?
I have. So I was thinking back on this. Do you know that I did sales training? I opened the first Nordstrom Encore department in Seattle in the late 80s when I was doing fashion shows for plus size women, and I did sales training for Nordstrom. So yes, I've been doing this for a very long time. I started when I was 9, so, put it that way.
I mean, there's so much content that I'm seeing online right now where people are bringing back ideas that have always been true and introducing them like they're new ideas.
That's actually why I love exactly what to say.
Okay.
Because everything in our content, your content, is stuff that has always universally worked. It's just now packaged in a way that it's smarter and actually targeted. You know what I mean? Like I've been saying to people, the good news is for years, because people need to be safe. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that keeps people safe when they're in a buying situation is to know that other people have done it and it's good for them. Okay. And that's a real subtle way to, the good news is, or most people who I talk to, who I try to sell this to, XYZ happens.
Yeah. And obviously we're both in agreement that language matters and knowing the right words at the right time is something that certainly impacts a closing scenario and success. But what are some of the mistakes that you're seeing people making today or have always been making that stops them getting the results that you think are?
Impatience. I think impatience is the key because people want to, it's like dating, right? You want to go, hi, how are you? So how many kids do you have and do you want to get married?
Wow.
Like not questions that you want to ask right away, right?
Okay.
It's like in sales, it's the same thing. It's like, hi, how are you? So do you want to buy the green car or the red car? I'm not sure I want to buy a car. Well, but you're here, so obviously you want to buy a car, right? So there are like the impatience to get to the end. It's not always about getting to the end. It's about creating the space in the middle for people to come to their own conclusions, I think, always.
So if impatience is the problem,
yes.
Like, what's the remedy? I like this idea of the middle, but how?
Ask them about them. The thing that people like most is to talk about themselves. Hey, you asked me to do this interview with you. We're talking about me and what I did. I'm a happy girl, right?
Right.
So people like to talk about themselves.
But how do you do that if you're in a discovery call? How do you do that if you're in you've got 30 seconds of somebody's time and then you want to say, hey, I want to just catch up and find out about whether there's a good fit, like these sort of lazy language patterns that people have. How do you truly have conversations with people that allow you to explore that messy middle, you call it?
I think it's really, first of all, it's a mindset of knowing that you're an offer of help.
Yeah.
If what you're selling is not an offer of help to them, then don't sell it to them, right? So I was on Home Shopping Network for 18 years. So I sold millions of people's pieces of clothing, literally millions, to people who didn't know they wanted it and didn't know they needed it, and I wasn't in the room with them. So what I had to do is know so much about my product. I don't think I ever shared this with you, that I had a list. When I started on Home Shopping, I made a list. It was 3 pages long of everything my clothing could do. Absolutely everything, like what it would be, what it would feel like, what it would look like, how to wash it, how to clean it, the styling, everything there. And I had that list and I memorized that list. so that when I went on television, I didn't have to consciously think about it at all. And what came out was organic to the situation.
Okay.
So I think in a sales conversation,
Yeah.
you asked, what do we do for the messy middle? I think it's know what you know and then ask the questions of, so how can I help? What are you looking for?
And it's know enough so deeply inherently that you don't have to show up and throw up with it. You're not delivering let me tell you everything I know about my thing. You're knowing so much about your thing that you can only reach for the components that are necessary when they're ready.
And people only want to know the piece that they want to know. You want to know the mistake I make most? The mistake I make most when I'm selling is I oversell.
Oh, man.
Like I tell people, in fact, it happened with a speaking engagement recently. Somebody was considering me as a keynote for their program. And I think I had it, right? And then I said, oh, by the way, who's emceeing your event? I could emcee the event. And if you're doing a panel, I could do the panel.
Oh.
And I blew it.
And how long have you been doing this?
30 years.
And you're still making mistakes?
Yep, of course. Of course, because I was so excited about the opportunity. That sounds embarrassing that I'm still making mistakes after 30 years, but I was so excited about the opportunity. I wanted to overgive. I think one of the problems is people want to get to the end too fast and they want to overshare, only share what the other person needs to know.
And it's ironic we're walking because it's like one step at a time, right? So one step at a time, one step at a time is all it really wants to be.
But that's life, right?
And if you try to go 3, 5, 7, 9 steps while somebody's only ready to make one, then what they do is they shut down.
Exactly.
Did you see this happen when you were asking people to buy things on a TV channel? Because you got like data back instantly.
Instantly. Do you know that there are graphs, on television that I could see how many people were calling in? And if I saw that the calls started to dip, I would actually get up and physically move my body, which is a key, right? People get comfortable in a place. If you want to move them, move you.
Okay.
So I would literally get up and walk over to the models and, refix them up and talk about the collar and talk about the shirt, right? To change the energy. I think people buy so much on energy. And if we're talking about closing, my favorite question is, what else do you need to know to make this real for you?
Well, let's step inside for a second as well. And
because it's 300 degrees outside?
Something like that as well. And it's great to be able to walk and talk, right? But also to melt is probably not the objective. Probably not the objective. But what I'd love to get, I think people understand the problem that they bump into. And it's a nervousness, right? It's like a nervous anxiety that kicks in. I've got an opportunity. I don't want to mess it up. So what I'm doing is like, how much more can I keep talking? Because if I can keep talking, then I haven't lost the sale, and all the time that I'm continuing to be able to communicate, etc. Then
that's my problem. Mm-hmm. That's one of my challenges. That's part of who I am. I talk. Have you noticed I talk too much? It's just a part of who I am. But I think we have to stop and wait. One of the things I've learned, so I studied, even way before I met you, decades before, I studied the differences between men and women. And one of the things that women do is we overshare because the more we share, the safer we are. Okay. Because we feel that you know us. Yeah. So if we share a lot, what men need is men are self-protective first, and men won't share unless they're comfortable. So if you're selling to a man, my advice to women who sell to men is ask a question, then shut up and let them actually feel like they want to share, and then pull it up. Because men, this is so politically incorrect, Phil. We might not want to share this on YouTube because we can't talk that men and women are different anymore, but our brains are literally wired differently. So if you ask a question, stop and actually wait for the answer, and don't presuppose or assume the answer, because people do that all the time. It's like, oh, I know what they're going to say, so I'm going to answer what they didn't ask.
Okay. So it's holding the space to allow people to finish the answer to the question, giving them the ability to be able to actually share with you useful truth.
Yes.
And then look to see if you can actually help them deliver upon what might be valuable to
them. And if you can't, be a resource. The most valuable thing, look, this is not about closing, it's about connection.
Okay.
So be a resource for someone. If what you're selling, I don't care if it's clothing or cars or real estate, if what you're selling isn't the answer to their problem, know somebody who has that answer, because then you become a trusted advisor. People there's a lack of trust in the world right now. Have you noticed? Like, people don't trust things. They don't trust that they're real. They don't trust that they're telling the truth. So if you say to somebody, you know what? One of my favorite lines of yours, this may not be for you.
Yeah.
But
And pull it away.
And hold the space for them to come back to you and say, no, this is good. It's like in dating. You might say, you know what? I may not be the right person for you to go out with. And they'll go, well, maybe you are. And I'm like, that's fun.
So there's no need to create the friction that can happen from being able to move too quick too soon. And, and what I'd love to learn from you as well, because I know that you spend a lot of your time training what you call wicked smart people, people that are strongly analytical, people who have very much a data-driven approach to being able to
Which is
deliver
the
advice.
opposite of me.
Right?
Opposite.
So what is resonating today? Like, what might be the top 3-4 things that you share with people who don't necessarily see themselves as having a confidence in being able to sell that is helping them being able to access superpowers in their world?
Yeah. First of all, have some data.
Okay.
Have something that grounds what you do in reality. I never made up statistics, but I used to, imagine how many people had. Now, when I'm speaking to wicked smart people, I actually come in with some data that actually matters. And now, with all of the AI that's available, you can actually find, the McKinsey reports and the World Economic Forum reports. So there's that. Have a little bit of data that's relevant to what you sell.
Okay.
Okay.
So have the data to back up the points that you're looking to be able to prove.
Exactly.
Have the prove it really, right?
Yeah. And then my favorite question is, if you had a magic wand and you could create the outcome you're looking for from this, whatever the conversation is, what would that look like? And then stop, so then you can see what they're actually picturing, because what they're picturing, what you're picturing might not be the same things at all.
So if somebody's on a discovery call, if somebody has reached out on a contact form on your website and you now find yourself in an engagement, if somebody's agreed to a demo about your product or service that you could help them with, is asking them the question of, if you had a magic wand, or if you could create a utopian scenario, if you could have a dream outcome from this, what might that be?
And by when?
Okay.
Ask people the timing question, because one of the things about relationships, so women in relationships will live into the time that you give us. Okay. For men, they live in the present. So if I ask you, so Phil, you said you wanted to buy this car.
Yeah.
When are you looking to have it by?
Okay.
Because if I have to import it, or if I have to get it from another dealership, I need to know that so that I can say, well, if I could get it for you by next Tuesday, then is that something that you're interested in putting a deposit down on now, so that somebody else wouldn't get it, right? It's your then formatting, which I really like.
So I know that you've got somewhere else to be fairly quickly, and I don't have much of your time today. So why don't we jump up and walk towards your next thing?
Okay.
Be as brief as you can for me. If somebody is new to the world of needing to sell for themselves, somebody's maybe started their own business, somebody is good at a thing, that they've got huge passion towards helping other people, and they now need to find themselves in sales calls and asking for people for money.
Yeah.
What might be just some rapid fire pieces of advice that you could give to them that would help them find some confidence or competence in being able to get paid what they're worth, or to close the right number of sales?
You're not asking people for money, you're asking them to trust you.
Okay.
Second, I think that you are making sure it's a good time to talk. Make sure that they're in a place, in a mindset that they have the space for you to have the conversation.
Okay.
And if they come at you, they really want to do business with you, make them an offer. Do you know how many salespeople I see? Let's say real estate, right? They show a beautiful house and they never say, so do you want to put down an offer on this house?
So be brave enough to invite them to act.
Okay, so there's an inductive kick, right? There's a cycle that goes from the idea to the invitation to the presentation to the contract to the work. That's part of the cycle of work.
Slow down a second.
Sorry.
Give me those 5 again.
Okay, there's the idea.
Yeah.
There's the invitation.
Yeah,
there's
idea.
the presentation. Then you go to contract. There's an inductive kick. It's a physical, biological thing that happens to our body between the presentation and the contract, asking for the order that a lot of people aren't comfortable doing. It is uncomfortable because you're now getting to a place of potential friction.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't love it. I don't love asking.
Well, that's why people get objections and stalls and follow-ups
right.
and challenges, because what they do is they deliver the presentation,
That's right.
and then they create what I call a ta-da moment. It's like, ta-da!
Exactly.
But there's no actual commitment or
Right.
agreement towards this is what's happening next.
So after the presentation, stop, take a breath, and ask the question, is there anything else you need to know? And then stop.
And what happens when you say that? You say, is there anything else you need to know? And they say?
They'll say, well, no, I think I'm good. If they say they're good, say, okay, so do you know what the next steps are for us?
Okay.
Or can I share the next steps for us? Or
So
what
you're
I
back
do
to
with-
invitation again, and you're
That's
saying the
right.
next steps are, and then you're just leading them towards. So
The next step is we have another call.
Yeah.
That's right. And on that call, we talk about the financing for this, or we talk about the commitment to this, or we.
Well, and the next step could be we got a simple agreement.
That's right.
The next step is that we need to schedule our first appointment. The next step is that we need to come out and create a custom design.
Easy. Yeah.
Yes. And I think when you detach yourself from the outcome for you and attach yourself to the outcome for them, everything changes.
Amen. Because everything's about them. I mean, you say it all the time. People do things for their reasons, not yours. And we forget that so often because what we do matters to us, right? I want to be in front of audiences all the time because it matters to me and it's fun for me and I love it and I feel like I deliver real value.
You sure do.
Aw, thank you. But it's not about me. It's about what do they need? What are they looking for? And how can I best serve their audience? And once I find that shut up, and I'm saying that to me, Carolyn, shut up and let them tell me that they want to do business with me.
So good. And then the pressure gets released.
It's not
You feel like you're on the same side. You didn't win the sale. You just got a commitment that says this matters enough for us to go to work on this together.
And it's not winning. It's next stepping. The next step is who else do you know that might want this or might use my help or might need an MC for their medical, pharma, or biotech conference,
And it's
right?
staying playful. It's helping to lead.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And if you're desperate, go get a job somewhere that pays your basic bills because desperation in dating and desperation in sales shows up.
Big time.
So don't be desperate because that's an energetic that people are going to have. They're going to feel it.
And a belief I have, and I'd love to get your take on this, is that if you're not convinced, you cannot convince. Like if you do not believe with great certainty you can deliver upon your promises, it'll fall over pretty darn quick.
If you're selling stuff, first of all, know who your competition is. Know who your competition is and what they do better than you and what they do different than you, and then sell on your value. Don't sell just on your product. Because here's a little secret that everybody needs to know. Nobody needs what you have because they can either get it on Amazon, they can get it online, or they can get it from someone else.
Right.
So if you are sure that you're the person for them, just help them see, or you have the product for them, help them see that, you know what, you could go somewhere else, but what you can't get from them is X. Know what your X factor is.
Love that. Carolyn, we've had people listening in to our conversation here today as well.
Really? I thought it was just you and me.
And if you had just one simple piece of advice to be able to give somebody listening at home right now that would help them grow in their sales confidence or competence, what might that be?
Have fun. And don't take yourself or life too seriously because life is short. And my new favorite word is, okay, next.
So with that said, okay, next.
Cheers.